What's up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. So today we are talking about probably the most requested video that I've ever had on a specific diet. Especially recently, it's just been a ton of requests to talk about this. So as you guys can tell by the title of the video, we are going to be talking about the keto diet. Before we get any further in the video, I do want to say I am not a dietitian. This is just my opinion. I do want to say that this video is something that I've not really been looking forward to talking about because so many people have so many strong feelings about their diet and what they do. So I'm just here to give my opinion. Please, you don't have to slaughter me in the comments. Obviously, you can do whatever you want, but understand this is just my opinion. I feel like if you're someone that's really for keto, or even if you're someone that's really against keto, you're probably really not going to agree with me. So the comment section is probably going to be a battlefield. But again, I'm just trying to give my opinion off of the facts that I've seen. First things first, let's talk about what the ketogenic diet is for those of you that might not be familiar. So the ketogenic diet, I think, is different from pretty much any other fad diet. And I'm not calling keto a fad diet, but any other like super huge diet that gets really popular, because it really does change the way your body basically uses calories to perform. With the ketogenic diet, what you are doing is restricting yourself from carbs because your body naturally wants to use carbs, glycogen, or glucose as its preferred source of fuel. That's what it will do. If it has that option, that's what's going to choose. With the ketogenic diet, what you're doing is cutting those carbs pretty much out, maybe 30 grams or less a day, and your body is going into ketosis. So now it is using those ketone bodies to fuel itself, or basically the fat that you're using, that's what it's using to fuel itself. So it really is switching from using carbs to actually using fat. If you are super interested in the science behind it, which I think is really important, I will link a couple videos and a couple different of the articles that I read just so you can get a little bit more aware with what I'm talking about. So now your body is using fat as fuel, and that's why it's so different compared to other diets that might just say, don't eat this certain food or don't eat that, right? Keto really is switching your body into a different state of burning different things for its fuel. So that's why I really do think it is completely different than most of the other fad diets that you'll see out there. So how keto kind of came about and how it got popular was, which I think is absolutely awesome, was that it actually helped people with epilepsy that dealt with seizures. So it helped them reverse those seizures or make those seizures a lot less frequent and a lot less intense. And then it also has been shown to help people that are dealing with cancer as well. So personally, I think that keto absolutely is a diet that can help certain people, and it can be super useful to certain people. But as you guys know, this channel is mainly about weight loss. So I want to talk about keto and weight loss. Is it the best diet, or is it something that will be useful to a lot of people out there? So the first thing when it comes to weight loss with keto, a lot of people will see a pretty drastic change in their weight right at the start. Because when you get into keto, you are cutting those carbs and you're cutting that glycogen out of your body. And as we all know, the more carbs you have, the more kind of water weight you hold. So if you cut out those carbs and you cut out that glycogen, you're gonna see a pretty dramatic drop in body weight and in kind of bloating. So you're gonna see a change in the mirror as well. So at the start, a lot of people really love keto because you see that dramatic result really quick. Another plus with keto is that because you are restricting yourself to not having very many carbs, a lot of like the trigger foods that a lot of people might have that they might just overeat, and they grab a bag of chips and they can't stop themselves from eating the whole thing, that's cut out of your diet, right? You can no longer eat that. So if you have those strict guidelines of I cannot eat that, a lot of people do see results because they tell themselves, I will stick to this diet, and they know what they can eat and they know what they cannot eat. Another pro about keto is a lot of people say that they actually feel a lot more full on usually less volume of food because you are eating a lot of protein and a lot of fat, a ton of fat. So that is going to keep you satiated. So you actually do feel a little bit more full throughout the day than if you were eating maybe a lot of carbs. And finally, I do think that there is a great community out there of people that do keto that are willing to share their knowledge for free. So there's a wealth of information. If somebody does want to start keto as their diet, they can look up a ton of information and be kind of set up for success if they do want to do keto. I think that having a strong community as far as a diet and stuff is so important, and it can be incredibly useful and incredibly beneficial for someone that is trying a new diet out. With all that being said, now let's talk about what I believe the cons might be to this type of diet. So the most obvious thing that people will say is a con with this diet is how restrictive it can be, because when you are completely cutting out a macronutrient, it makes your food choices really limited. Again, some people it might not bother you not eating a lot of carbs, but for some people that really do enjoy carbs, like I don't know, for myself, it would be really difficult to sustain for a long period of time. Another con is that you have to stick to it. I know that sounds silly, but when you're in ketosis, you can't just go in and out and in and out. It doesn't work like that, right? So you cannot just kind of like, oh, I fell off on the weekend, I'll just get back on Monday. That's not how it works, right? You have to stick with it, which again, I think is really good for some people. But if you're someone that's kind of yo-yoing around and you want to go to keto, it is very, very, very important that you are 100% ready to start that diet. And really it is, as cheesy as these words have become, it really is a lifestyle change. So you can't just kind of go on a whim and say, I'm going to start keto. I think it's very important to do a ton of research and really think to yourself, is this a diet that I can maintain and a lifestyle I can maintain for an extended period of time? And the next con, I'm going to be using my absolute favorite word when it comes to weight loss. It is sustainability. Now, this diet is something that I think for most people for a long period of time is not sustainable. And when I say long period of time, I'm talking about like 5 years, 10 years, right? You might be able to do this diet and it might be good for you to do this diet for 6 months to a year, but I think it is very important when you are in that 6 month to a year period that you're doing keto, or maybe even 3 months, whatever you choose to do, that you are maybe changing your relationship with food and you're thinking to yourself, okay, what am I going to do next? Because I personally believe that weight loss comes from calories in versus calories out. So you are obviously in a caloric deficit when you're in keto, and that's why you're losing weight. So you have to set yourself up for success once you get off of keto. So what am I gonna do when I start introducing carbs? How am I still gonna be in a caloric deficit? All of that stuff is really important to set up before you get out of keto, so you're not getting out of keto and then just blowing back up because you didn't have a plan. Because again, I think that for most people, especially if you are just focusing on weight loss, keto is not gonna be something that you're gonna wanna stick to for the rest of your life. So again, this video is not to bash keto. I'm just trying to give my opinion and what I think will help the vast majority of people out there. Am I against keto? Absolutely not. I think that it can be very useful, especially if it's not just for weight loss. If you're trying to, obviously deal with cancer, deal with diabetes, if you're dealing with epilepsy, all of those things, I think keto can be great. But if you are strictly just wanting to do keto for weight loss, I think that there are other things that you can maybe try before you go to keto, because again, if you are going to do keto, you have to really do keto. You can't just kind of do keto. So would I ever do keto for weight loss? The answer for me is no, only because I have found something that works for me. That means I don't have to do something that's so drastic as cutting out a complete macronutrient, but it might be something that could help you start your weight loss, or it might be something to help you shake up. It could be useful for you. So again, I just want to let you guys know, this is my opinion. This is how I feel. I know the comment section is going to be a battle zone, but I'm just trying to give you the facts along with my opinion. Now, with all that being said, if I developed a health condition that I thought that keto might help me reverse, I would 100% give keto a shot and give it 100% of my effort. So those are my thoughts on the keto diet for weight loss. Again, if you are interested in learning more, I'm going to link a ton of stuff down in the description so you can make your own opinion, because that's what this is all about, right? I am not trying to force you to think like me. I just want you guys to form your own opinion. So there you guys go. I hope you're able to understand where I'm coming from. But first off, before I end this video, I would love, absolutely love to hear from you guys. The whole point of this video, I want there to be a conversation, hopefully a good conversation down in the comment section down below. We don't need to attack each other, but I would love to hear from you guys. If you like keto, if you don't like keto, what are your thoughts? I would love to hear those down in the comment section down below. With that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. There was one other thing that I wanted to say. Oh yeah, look how buff I am.
Obey the warning signs, and when there are flashing lights or wigwags, don't attempt to cross until they come to a complete stop.